Okay, so this is the game web design PSD file. You'll notice that if we go to the layers, there are a number of layers here. And what we're going to do is, in order to convert this into HTML, we'll need to flatten it. That means to get rid of all the layers. What we do is, in the web design industry, you generate your image, your web design image, like I've got here. And then I would send this to the client and I would say, do you approve this, or are there any modifications I need to make? Obviously, I would have drawn this by hand first, right? So you get them to approve a sketch, your clients will approve the sketch, and then you get this, once you got the sketch approved, you then develop what we call a Photoshop mock. Okay, this is a mock-up. Mock just means pretend. And once this mock is approved, let's just say that I've got the thumbs up from the client. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of my layers and I want to squash them down. So notice that I can turn these layers on and off. So I want to have no layers for this next process. So to do that, I'm going to go up to layer and then I'm going to go to flatten image. Okay, so layer, flatten image. That will squish all of your layers down onto the one layer, like this. What I'll need to do next is, see I've got all this big white space up here. I'm going to use the crop tool over here and I'm going to crop this down just to it includes the part of the website that I want. And hit enter. And notice that my background, well, all of the layers have become one layer, which is called background. And I'm going to click on the padlock. That will unlock it so I can edit it. Notice that this web design has two typefaces, right? They're called fonts once we allocate them a size and a weight, like whether they're bold or italic. Once you do that, then they become a font. So notice that I've got two different styles of text. Okay, that's the typeface, two typefaces. Most websites should use, all of your designs, whether you're making a game or a movie or a video or a book, a website, try to avoid using more than two typefaces. The more you use, the more your brain has to search and compete for what's going on with the information. All good design communicates ideas succinctly, right? So you don't want to have competing bits of information. So we try and limit our typefaces to two. Maybe sometimes you might want to include three, but do not go over three. That's the golden rule. Anyway, now that we've got this, notice that if I use the type tool, I can't hover and select this type anymore. They've all been flattened down to pixels. So if I zoom in, you'll see my font has now become pixels. And the thing is that you can use different typefaces in your web design, but a lot of people don't understand that if the other person who's looking at your website, say you've got someone in Norway looking at your game website, I've used this really funky looking typeface. It's called 04B. If the person in Norway doesn't have 04B, which they probably won't, right? There's how many billion people in the world and how many typefaces do they have on their computer? If they don't have the typeface, it will default to something basic like Arial, Helvetica, or Times. So a good web designer wants to make sure that the website looks the same no matter who's looking at it or on what device they're looking at it on. Okay? So what we do is we make sure that our special typefaces, like the ones you can see here, the 04B, we're going to make them into graphics, into a photo. Okay, so that way it doesn't matter if the person has that that typeface or not. So these are all pixels, so that we're good to go because we've flattened the image. When we went to flatten layers, it converted all of the text into pixels. Now that we've done this, I'm going to show you a special tool and it's for web designers. So if you go to the crop tool, right click or hold the mouse button down, and you'll see we have the slice tool. The slice tool allows us, think about pizzas and slicing up pizza. It allows us to slice up our website into smaller chunks. You might have heard of these chunks as div tags. So the slice tool allows us to make div tags basically. So I'm going to get the slice tool, not the slice select, but the slice tool. And starting from the top left corner, I'm going to cut and drag a rectangle. And I'm going to look really closely to make sure that this rectangle covers the top banner. Okay, so I've got number 1. I've got a slice up here. And by default, the rest of my web page is slice number 2. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the bottom right of this menu system for the purple, and I'm going to grab the slice tool and slice up to align with the bottom of the banner. So now I've got 2 sections, and I'll do the same thing for the white div tag, and then the same thing for the green one, right? So I should have 4 slices after I've finished using the slice tool. So if we wanted to, we could convert this into HTML now, but it's not quite finished because we want to have the menu. When we hover over the home button, we might want to change the way that the text, the color of the text and that sort of thing. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to get you to go back to the slice tool in the toolbar. I'm going to right click again, and we're going to go to slice select tool. So the slice tool is all about cutting up the image, but the slice select is about selecting those individual images. So here's the slice select tool, and notice I can select the top one, the middle one, second middle one, or the bottom one. Right, I've got these 4 slices. And inside this purple slice, I want to divide the purple slice into pieces. So I've got a space here, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I want to cut this up into 9 slices. So the best way to do that is to right click on where it says the number 3 or whatever your number is, right? And I'm going to go to divide slice. And I'm going to divide this slice vertically into 9 pieces. And you'll see it gives you a preview, and we'll click OK. And then, making sure you've still got the slice select tool, I'm going to edit these individual slices so that they are lining up with the menu options. So you don't want to have any overlapping slices. So notice that my first slice in the purple menu, it's just empty. Then we get to home, and then we've got another empty slice. So I've got to adjust this slice and adjust the one for the about. And same thing for the next empty space. And same for the DLC. And same for contact. So I'm shuffling this along now to make room. Just remember, you don't want any overlapping slices. So just be careful. It should, when you hover over, it should sort of click into place and snap. Okay, so now I've got my 9 slices with an equal space around all of my menu items. The next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to right click on each of their buttons. So I'll start with the home button and I'll right click and we'll go to edit/options. So we'll call this one home and we'll give it the URL of index.html. And you should all know what that means, right? That's your home page. So that means when you click on this button, it's going to take the user to this page. And I'll do the same thing. I'm going to right click on the about and give it the name about. And the URL will be about.html. And the same thing for the other two buttons. So there's my DLC, and this will be dlc.html, and contact here will be the contact page and contact.html. All right, so now we've got this sliced up. We're going to do the same thing with this middle slice with the white background. So we've got like an empty space, got a graphic, we've got some text, and we've got the white space. So is that 4? Yes, that's 4 slices. So I'll go to divide slice, and we're going to divide this up into 4. And again, I'll make sure I've got the slice select tool, and I'm going to adjust my slices so that they are aligning with the graphics, and these would be div tags. Although when we convert this, Photoshop is going to first convert them to a table, and we will change that later on to be div tags. What's also important is that your big bits of text, like this text here on the blurb of the game, you really want that to be real text, and we want it to be something like Arial or Helvetica or Times, because search engines like Google and Bing, when they're searching web pages, they're making sure that they can read this text, and if it's in a graphic, sometimes the search engines can have a hard time understanding the text on the page. So yes, this is pixels at the moment, but once we take it to Notepad++, we'll convert it into the text. So I'll just make sure that we've got no gaps or no overlapping slices. That's the middle slice done. And then the last one, let's divide this bottom slice, and we'll divide that, we'll divide this into 3 sections. So divide slice, and we'll choose 3. Now you might want to get technical and have a slice for privacy terms and copyright. This is just like a demonstration, so I'm not going to worry about it, and I'll just keep it as the default cut there. Okay, now that we've done this, we're almost ready to take this into Chrome and have a look at it. So what I need you to do is, we're going to go up to where it says File and Export, and we're going to go Save for Web Legacy. Okay, so you should have done this, maybe you've done this earlier in the year with me. So we're going to go to Save for Web, and this will give us the whole layout of our website. And what you want to do is make sure that each one of these graphics is being saved here as a PNG. Okay, so we use PNG 8 for computer graphics like pixel art. If we had a photo here, especially a photo of someone's face, then you want to choose JPEG. So really good rule of thumb, right? And this might be in your exam, so write this down. JPEGs are good for photos, okay, especially photos of humans and faces, because JPEGs can show 24 million colors. See how it says PNG 8 here? That 8 is a representation of how many colors. It's not 8 colors, it's actually 2 to the power of 8, which is 255 colors, or 256. And so that's perfect for pixel art. And so what that's going to do is it's going to make the file very small while still retaining the best quality. So I'm just going to go through each one of these slices and make sure that they're all set to PNG and PNG 8. You'll notice there's an option for PNG 24 there. The PNG 24 is for if you've got a transparent background. And so if you want to have a see-through background, then you make sure that you're saving it as a PNG 24. Sorry, I've saved some of these as PNG 24. I meant these should be PNG 8. So, just one second. Yes.
Mine is showing just like a corner of the thing. That's not showing the full thing.
You might need to hang behind and I'll see if I can troubleshoot you at the end. I'm not sure what you might be doing wrong. But yes, for most of you, you should be changing this to PNG 8. And I've got 4 more to do. This one, PNG 8, PNG 8, and PNG 8. Okay, so they're all PNG 8s. Now I'm going to go to Save, and I'm going to create a new folder, something like web design for game. And I'll just do that one more time. I'm not sure if it's saved right. So save for web. Save game website on a web design for game, right? And the most important thing that I need you to do is see how it says file name. Under file name, you must change it to HTML and images. Okay, so this is going to work out what the HTML will be for all of your slices. And choose XHTML as well, and that should get you div tags. Okay, so if I click on save, let's go to my desktop, and you'll see that there is web design for game. So if I double click on this, it should load up in Chrome. And there it is. There's my website. You'll notice that there's some gaps. That's because the padding by default is not set to 0. So we'll need to create a CSS file which sets all of the options to have 0 padding. And we'll change a few other things. So let's take a look at, there's our images folder. And there's all of the slices. And just going back to my Chrome browser, notice that when we hover over the buttons, it's going to take us to the different links. So if I click on About, I get nothing because we haven't done the About page yet. But you could do the About page in a similar way. We just have to resave this page as the About page, and we'll change other graphics. So this should take us to the index page. So I'm going to change this to my index. So that HTML file, it was named game design HTML by default. Now I've changed it to index, and if I click on it, it should take me to this home page. Okay, so next we're going to look at editing with Notepad. And you'll see that this is all of the HTML code. I was saying earlier that we don't want to have text as an image. So if you have a look here, this is a 2D pixel graphics based game called, this section here, we want to convert that into an actual, has to be text. We don't want that to be a graphic because the search engines can't read it. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure Google can read it these days, but it's just best practice. If you've got text, text loads much faster than graphics. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go backward by pushing Control Z. I'm going to go all the way back. Actually, I might just go up to File, Revert. And now I've got all my layers back, and I'm going to get the move tool. I'm going to right click on the text. Whenever you right click with the move tool, it tells you what layers are underneath your mouse. So this says artboard 1, this is the text. So this is my text here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the text tool by pushing T or going to the text tool in the toolbar. I'm going to select my text and go to Control C. Then what I'm going to do is I'll just check out my folder, and I want to see what images. So slice number 15 is where the text is. So inside my HTML, this is the section where that text went. And at the moment it's occupied by an image tag. So I'm going to get rid of the image tag. And in lieu of the image tag, I'm going to paste this text. Now, if you remember from last week, the web browser will just ignore all of the spaces, and it will just, there's no return symbol. So to make a return symbol, we have to use the BR tag. So I'm going to copy and paste this. So BR, and then I can hit return here, and then every time we want there to be a new line, we're going to use this BR tag. Okay, so this should be fine. I'm going to save this index page, then I'm going to go back to my browser, and here we have it. There's our text. In the next lesson, I'll show you how to convert all this to div tags. At the moment, it's in a table, but it is a functioning website. So that was our lesson on making a website with HTML using Photoshop.